Hello, Dolphins fans. Things are hot behind the scenes at the Miami Dolphins. Chris Grier is going to have to make some big decisions involving 10 names on the market. Well, I'll tell you everything that's going on, but first make sure you hit the like button if you think it's time for Tagovailoa to go. This is definitely a divided opinion among fans. If possible, leave your opinion here in the comments. We'll talk more about this in a moment, but first we need to talk about another guy. First, the headliner, Javon Holland. The 25-year-old safety is one of the biggest names in this free agent class, and many teams will be willing to open their wallets for him. But should Miami? Here's the reality. Holland has regressed every year since being drafted in the second round by Oregon. Sure, he's been solid in coverage, but when it comes to tackling in crucial moments, he's been a problem. And in Miami's late season, must-win situations, his struggles have become painfully obvious. Pro Football Focus projects his next contract at 4 years, $98 million, with an annual salary of nearly $20 million. That's elite money for a player who, let's be honest, hasn't played at an elite level. Miami doesn't have a lot of cap space to spread around, and investing that kind of money in a safety with tackle issues, that's a tough pass. Let him walk. Take the 2026 compensatory pick and find a new direction for the safety room. On the opposite end of the spectrum, there's Campbell. The veteran defensive lineman was a revelation in 2024, proving that age is just a number. He may be 37, but his 5 sacks, 52 tackles, and veteran leadership were invaluable. He played college ball in Miami, returned to suit up for the Dolphins, and was a key figure in mentoring younger players like Chop Robinson. The question isn't whether the Dolphins should re-sign him. Of course, they should. The question is, does Campbell want to play another season? Miami nearly waived him late in the year to give him a shot at joining a Super Bowl contender. If he wants to run it back, a 1-year, $3 million deal makes all the sense in the world. Next, we turn to Kader Kohou. The nickel corner bounced back from a rough 2023 season under Vic Fangio, putting together a much stronger campaign in 2024. His numbers in coverage were respectable: 65.6% completion rate allowed, 2 interceptions, 3 pass breakups, and a QB rating of just 76.0 when targeted. Among slot corners, he ranked in the top 12 to 15 in key metrics. But here's the issue. Miami needs a culture shift in the secondary. This team needs more physicality and better tackling at the cornerback position, and Kohou's size limits his ability to bring down big backs like Derrick Henry and Josh Jacobs. It's a tough call, but ultimately, it's time to move on. Giving Cam Smith another shot next season might be the better move. Now, let's talk about Liam Eichenberg. And if you followed the Dolphins for any length of time, you already know where this is going. There is absolutely no scenario where re-signing Eichenberg makes sense. The offensive line has been a problem for years, and Eichenberg has been at the center of that mess. Miami needs a full reset on the interior offensive line, and that starts with showing him the door. Whether it's finding a new left guard in free agency or the draft, anything is better than running it back with Eichenberg. If the Dolphins bring him back, fans have every right to be furious. One player who absolutely should return, though, is linebacker Tyrel Dodson. He didn't even start the 2024 season with Miami. He was picked up off waivers after Seattle cut him, but he made an immediate impact. In 5 games, he started 3 and racked up 36 tackles, 3 interceptions, and 4 pass breakups. His 85.6 coverage grade was one of the highest among linebackers during the final stretch of the season. Miami needs depth at linebacker, and a 2-year, $9 million deal seems like the sweet spot. Some projections have him landing closer to $11 million over 2 years, but the Dolphins might be able to negotiate a cheaper contract. Either way, he should stay. Robert Jones? Another offensive lineman Miami needs to move on from. Like Eichenberg, he's part of the problem, not the solution. Miami's biggest priority this offseason should be revamping the offensive line to protect Tua Tagovailoa and improve the run game. Jones isn't the answer, and it's time to find someone who is. Sticking with the secondary, Jordan Poyer is another name that should be on his way out. He and Holland simply didn't get the job done last season. Poor tackling, getting burned in coverage, it just wasn't good enough. The Arizona game was a disaster, with Poyer getting completely torched by Trey McBride in a collapse that arguably cost Miami a playoff spot. It's time to completely overhaul the safety position, bring in fresh talent through the draft and free agency, and move forward without Poyer. Emmanuel Ogbah is an interesting case. The veteran edge rusher was signed late in the offseason after Shaq Barrett's sudden retirement, and with injuries piling up, Bradley Chubb never returned. Jalen Phillips went down early. He ended up playing a much bigger role than expected, and he delivered. 5 sacks, solid situational pass rushing, and good depth. If he's willing to take a cheap one-year deal, something in the $3 to $4 million range, bringing him back as a rotational piece makes sense. Then there's Benito Jones. The interior defensive lineman stepped up when given more playing time in 2024, and while Miami still needs to invest in a long-term solution alongside Zach Sealer, Jones proved he can be a valuable depth piece. He worked well as the third defensive tackle behind Campbell and Sealer, and bringing him back for 2025 would be a smart move. Finally, Isaiah Wynn. This might be a surprise, but re-signing Wynn actually makes a lot of sense. The offensive line needs to be overhauled, but Wynn can be a valuable depth piece. He missed most of 2024 due to injury, but his versatility, being able to play both guard and tackle, makes him a useful insurance policy. He won't cost much, and keeping him around for depth is a low-risk, high-reward move. So, there you have it, 10 free agents, 10 big decisions. Holland, Kohou, Eichenberg, Jones, and Poyer, let them walk. Campbell, Dotson, Agba, Benito Jones, and Wynn, bring them back. The Dolphins have major holes to fill, and making the right moves in free agency will be critical for this team's success in 2025. But now, I want to hear from you. Who should stay? Who should go? Drop your thoughts in the comments and let's get this debate going. One of the biggest challenges for the Miami Dolphins heading into this offseason is not just deciding which free agents to keep, but also figuring out how to replace those who leave. Chris Grier and the front office are in a tough spot, with limited cap space and glaring needs across multiple positions. Let's break down the impact of these decisions and what Miami's next moves should be. First, let's go back to Javon Holland. If Miami lets him walk, as we discussed, that leaves a massive hole at safety. This team has to address the position aggressively in free agency or the draft. There are some interesting names out there, players like Antoine Winfield Jr., if Tampa Bay doesn't bring him back, or Xavier McKinney from the Giants could be ideal replacements. But realistically, Miami might not have the money to compete for a top-tier safety, which makes the draft the most logical route. There's a strong class of safeties this year, and Miami should target one in the first 2 or 3 rounds. They already have Patrick McMorris, a 6th-round pick from last year, who the team seems to like. But he can't be the only solution. If the Dolphins go into 2025 with McMorris and a mid-tier free agent as their starting safeties, it could be a disaster. Then there's the cornerback situation. With Kader Kohou likely on his way out, Miami needs to find a more physical, aggressive nickel corner. There are a few options in free agency, but this might be another position best addressed in the draft. The Dolphins have to get tougher in the secondary. Too many missed tackles, too many soft plays in crucial moments last season. A hard-hitting nickel corner who can step up in the run game would make a huge difference. Now, let's shift back to the offensive line. This is where Miami absolutely cannot afford to make mistakes. They've already wasted too much time trying to make it work with Liam Eichenberg and Robert Jones. If this team is serious about protecting Tua Tagovailoa and establishing a real run game, they need to invest heavily in new talent. There are some strong free agent guards available, like Robert Hunt, who Miami might try to bring back, and Damian Lewis from Seattle. If they want to go the draft route, there are several solid interior linemen who could be available in the 2nd or 3rd round. But whatever happens, the Dolphins cannot just throw a Band-Aid on the O-line again. If they do, 2025 will be another year of frustration, injuries, and inconsistency up front. At linebacker, re-signing Tyrel Dotson makes sense, but Miami should also be looking to upgrade the position. Jordan Brooks was fantastic last season, but the Dolphins need more speed and playmaking ability at the 2nd level. If they don't address linebacker properly, stopping the run will continue to be a major issue. Go Dolphins!